Okay, so I want to go over what happened with the grass in the island. So that's our island there. It had two trees, one on that side and one on that side. Just very carefully, you can see the stumps. But obviously they're not there anymore. It was a very large one, but that one was. This one was about 12 feet and that one was 20, 30 feet. But they died due to some poison issues, and also a lot of this grass did. So there was this new beds that I've put in here basically is to, first and foremost, to cover up ugly wound. Basically the dirt, or basically all the grass had died and there was just bare dirt, and from where you see these beds it's covering the most of it, and on it went basically about 2 to 3 feet out here. From I'm measuring everything from this circular thing, came out about here, and then there was here, and then about there, which is why I switched from 4x4s to 2x4s boxes, is then it kind of went back and it's about 1.5 to 2 feet all the way to the end there, and then so I put this in to cover it up, and you can see right there that's what it will look like. It was just bare soil. The grass had all been nuked. So what we decided to do is put down some cardboard and smother it with mulch, and then besides that we want to put in some beds. So basically I put the cardboard down over everything, put my boxes in place, and then filled the boxes with my soil mix, and after that I went and then just grabbed some 2x4s, cut them a little bit angled, cut them to size, and then just with a single screw attached them to each box. That way they would form, just as you see, a support, so that when we put the mulch in here to smother the grass, it wouldn't spill out. Because if I look at the end here, which I have not excuse me, done that part, you can see that why you need that, because if you don't have a perimeter, obviously it's just going to move and lose. So that's what we're doing there, trying instead of ripping out the soil that's there, or the grass that was there, the technique of cardboard and mulch to just smother it, and we'll see how it goes. So I just need to put some end caps on here to figure out, to make it stop there so it doesn't come. Anyway, that part went pretty well. Now I just want to look at the what we put in here. So 4 4x4 boxes and 2 2x4s. And once again, the big thing was just to put stuff out here to cover it up. It wasn't really that we needed more growing space or whatever. It was mainly just to cover this up. But since we had it, we figured, of course, we're going to use it. And what we ended up doing 1 week ago today, I transplanted a ton of the seedlings that I had started from seed in the house 2.5 months ago, and brought them out here. So it's like the last weekend, like March 26th, I believe, is when we started most of these seedlings, and they haven't really thrived. So we just figured we'd transplant them out here, see what happened to them, and use this space best we could. So everything in this box here, this first one, there's 16 squares, and there's 16 long eggplant. And some of them are very tiny and pathetic, and some of them are okay. So we'll see. Obviously we could not support that density if they actually all came to size, but we figured we'll just plant them dense and see what happens, and if they make it, we'll transplant them, move them around, or give them away or whatnot. But all of them so far, and after 1 week, have survived, even if it's just barely, because they barely had a leaf, but they made it. And I transplanted everything. Unless it did not have a leaf, I transplanted it. Just because I figured, what the heck, might as well. So those are there. And as you'll see on some of the others, just the fact that they survived the first week is a good sign. So some of them obviously aren't going to make it because they weren't very strong, but I think a lot of them will. So that's that is the traditional long eggplant, Japanese style. This one is there was 13 black beauty eggplant, those 12, and then 13 there, and you can see they're all still alive. Not all looking the best, but once again, we'll let Mother Nature decide who's the winners and the losers. And then those 3 there were 3 sweet pepper mix, and as you can see, they did not make it very well. They're pretty much toast, because all you can see from here is the green. The only green you see is the stem. The leaves are all withered, so they just weren't very strong. So instead of just throwing them away, I figured I'd give them a shot, and none of them had made it. So there's eggplant, Black Beauty eggplant there, and that. This box here, this 3x3 grid is still empty, but I put in 2 Thai hots that we had bought, and then a marigold, one marigold seed to come up, and then an okra. And the okra's done well. The okra and the marigold were planted a week after all those guys, so they were planted at the end of April. And then here we have some seeds that I had planted last Saturday, so and today's Sunday, so 1 week in a day. And you'll see there's well, down here I planted a bunch of marigold seeds, just kind of sprinkled them and did it. We'll see what happens. But right here, my little triangle, we have 2 sunburst squash that have popped up, which is fantastic. I think I planted 3 seeds, but I'll take 2. And I'm going to let them grow in this whole 9 square foot area here. And in the back row, I put 4 okra seeds, and I'm not sure if you can see them, but there's 1, 2, 3 that have popped up. I don't see the 4th one quite yet, but they have popped up. And the okra we found to be very prolific. We ended up planting 7 seeds, or planting 7 of them in the when we did the seedlings, and they all popped up, and they came up so quick. So it looks like they're doing the same thing out here. So we figured we'd give it a shot. Here, this is an example of seeds that did not do well. There were 8 square feet in here, so I planted 8 of the orange blaze, and that is what's left of them. This one you can see is green, but has no leaves. This one's the only survivor, and it's it's there, and that's all you can pretty much say. It's all dead. So anyway, this is an example of, like I said, if it survived the first week, that's saying something. And this last one here, we did, so there's an okra there, and there, all surviving, all strong. There's a basil there, and you can see they have a little bit of a sun damage, I'm guessing. A little scorching, because they were all fair-skinned in there. This is one of the sweet pepper mix. Those are the other 2 that obviously have no leaves, so that's where we're at. So basically I'm going to let it go and then see kind of what happens, and then we'll fill in the gaps. So obviously there's a whole box there that at least, maybe 1 pepper will make it, but the rest surely won't, so I can put some more plants there. And then there's a little bit of a gap there, so we'll be able to go back in and kind of figure it out. And I just want to finish off with looking at some other things I planted, which were some sunflowers. This one looks very gorgeous, very nice as far as growth. I wouldn't say gorgeous. Now we start to get some crispy, and this has gotten very crispy, and all this is all in the past week or so, which is when basically it's been the first really intense sun, dry, hot that's been probably all season. And so they've shown some damage. That one's still okay. And I had 2 at the other end of the stake where those stakes are, and they're both gone. They just basically vaporized pretty much. So anyway, that is what we did with the island, this to cover up this, as I call it, receding hairline. But that's kind of what it looked like. It's just bare dirt. That's what happened with the poison coming back, and it was out there. And anyway, so that's where we're at. Just need to cap off the ends here, make some little transitional thing, and then our garden will be mostly covered up, or our bare stuff will be covered up. So now it looks nice-ish, and just need to go back and fine-tune it a little bit. I'm going to cut this cardboard off so that it doesn't show up like this, because obviously that doesn't look that great. But just go back with a razor knife and cut it all out, and then that's what we'll do for this year. And then we'll see next year if we're going to keep going and get rid of this grass patch here. But it's been good to cover all that up. I'm sure I have some pictures somewhere of how ugly that was, but now it's nice. Anyway, that's the update for all the front seedlings and garden.